So the perspective I'm coming from is like I had some very, very, very bad interactions with the police, and they never actually ever read me my Miranda rights. Not one time. I knew they were supposed to be read, but I've never been read them. And like where we kind of got this saying that because I'm from Chicago, right? So we got what's called jump out boys here. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's like it's down in profiling. So if you on the block that they familiar with, they just jump out and then they arrest everybody that's standing around or in the area. They never breed no Miranda rights, and it's a saying like if you put up any extra fighters, the police will be out there fighting you. So you just go to jail and then you fight the charge from there because it never works out any other way than that. Like it ain't you can't hold court in the street with them unless you plan on that being your permanent court date right there. So as far as like so thinking about how I would teach my kids, yeah, the rights exist and all that, but I'm gonna have them comply so that we'll deal with it after jail because I don't trust them enough to keep my child safe. And why they debate whether or not that they should do XYZ. I would tell them though, like, they're not your friend, don't speak to them. You can refuse or ask for counsel, ask if you're under arrest, and then from there, they supposed to do all that stuff. But when I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking about if somebody was listening, what I want them out there arguing that at that moment. You know what I'm saying? And I absolutely wouldn't. It just ain't safe. Them people ain't right. So.
And so do our Miranda rights even read during this? Because like Marcus, I've seen my friend get arrested because she had a vehicle that was so Miranda rights should be read anytime they put you in a car. Is that how it works? Because I don't know that stuff. That's not my line of expertise. So I'm just asking.
So when you're put in a police car, you're confined, like there's a metal gate and you're probably in handcuffs, right? So if that happens to you, ask yourself, like everyone asks himself with this scenario, am I free to go? No, you're not. You're confined. As soon as you're confined, they have you in custody, whether they say it or not. And a lot of them, they won't say that you're under arrest. They take advantage of the adrenaline in the moment and the fear of the person that's being questioned, right? So they make you feel like they actually have the power to do this when they don't. So someone putting you in the back of a police car, putting handcuffs on you, not reading you your Miranda rights is a huge mistake. That's a huge violation. But sometimes, well, a lot of times it can work out in your favor because when you go get an attorney, the attorney's going to have whatever the charges are thrown out because they have to do that. They have to let you know that you have the right to shut up. You have the right not to say anything. You have the right to call an attorney. Like you don't have to just do whatever they say because they say to do it because they have a badge.
What's so crazy is when you're in front of a judge can he makes sure or she makes sure that everything is going appropriately. You can't talk to a judge a certain kind of way. There's a whole system that is in place. But when you're on the street, it's just you and a cop, and then you're pretty much unrepresented. That's the scary part.
If your lawyer bring it up, then the judge won't ask or you only at sentencing. They ask you if you're aware of everything, and they don't go through like how everything went pre-trial before your indictment and all that other stuff. So,
go ahead, Byron.
I think people just take a risk of expecting the law to be enforced according to SOP, perform the right way. And it may be a matter of, and I don't think it's a matter of trust in the law because we have so many examples of it being done wrong so many times. And if you want to make the argument about, Black people being disproportionately affected by, the law being enforced the wrong way, you could. But given all of that, given all this knowledge, given all social media and all this stuff constantly being pushed on how the law is incompetent in a lot of scenarios, I think it's a matter of carelessness. Look, you going out here drinking and driving. You want to put your life and your safety in the hands of the officer being able to perform his job correctly. I think I only been in this world for 37 years, and I can tell you right now, I'm not convinced, or I don't feel comfortable trusting the law to be able to do it. Given that I know there's some good police officers out there, but I don't trust them enough to be able to go out here and drink and drive and expect them to be able to render the law according to SOP. And it is similar to a premarital agreement. I don't trust the judges to be able to make the best decision for me and my spouse in the event of a divorce. So I would get a premarital agreement anytime I get married so that we can make the decisions for the best interest of ourselves. And when you don't do that, and I think you could say that you're not aware that you have the power to be able to make those decisions, but leaving it up to the law, leaving it up to people wearing a badge, no disrespect to people who wear the badge, or if y'all got family members who wear the badge. I haven't lived long enough to be able to see that they are competent enough for me to leave my life up to their decisions or the ability to perform their duty with integrity according to the law. So I think it's a matter of carelessness.
Hold on, Shan. Let me just check with Bailey. Bailey, you want to chime in? Anything you want to say?
Yeah, I would just say that, I didn't realize that the officers didn't, read her rights. That is very important. That's something, because I was under the impression, right, of Shan Monet, that the officer was nice or seemed nice, right, from the tone and, not making a big deal with the dramatics when it came to being the overly aggressive or, having the situation turn sideways really quickly just from, the refusal of, doing the test or the comments of admitting that she did have weed in the car, but it wasn't, enough to go to jail, right? All these different things just from the officer's reaction. To me, on the outside looking in with someone who doesn't have, that legal background, it seemed or appeared that everything was normal. But also at the same time, right, I agree with other people over the line who were saying how she should have, just kept quiet and immediately called her attorney right away. I think that's the best thing. Of course, you should comply with the officers, but if you don't want to, that's something that everyone should know and be aware of.
All right. Go ahead, Sham, on that. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just saying, and I know the rights, let's just separate the two, right? The legal part, because you're right, you shouldn't speak without an attorney. But at the end of the day, you should also not drink and drive, okay? So with that being said, she drank, she drove, she got arrested because she was on the road drinking and driving. And another thing too is when, God, I knew I was going to forget. That's why I went home. Oh, people were on here saying, well, she's in a bad state of mind. She was drinking. She can't make these decisions. That's the same state of mind she was driving in, which means she should be arrested. Because if she can't think about what she should do to this officer, speaking to this officer, let's use that same thought process. And she can't think on while she's driving. She's not all the way here to be driving safely on the road. So we can't say one for one and not the other for the other. So all I'm saying is, aside from the legality of it, and thank you for putting that, letting us all know that from now on we do need to, because I do know we need to emphasize, please keep your mouth closed, get you an attorney, especially if they arrest you. You also don't need to be drinking and driving. And I'm talking to myself too, because sometimes, may have, I'm not a drinker like that, but I may get a little tipsy.
Nah, you never. You may have drank, but you've never touched a wheel.
What did you do? Huh?
I'm just saying for the record.
That was a glass. That wasn't because I've never smoked.
Call your lawyer before you.
We don't smoke here.
You need to plead the fifth and not drink the fifth. That's what you need to do.
Yes, do not drink and drive. That's the lesson. That's the lesson.
Not even a sip.
I think everybody on this panel, I think it's safe to say everybody on this panel
has all made us
admit
mistake,
it, but
and the good Lord has got us home safely. But let's not try it again. That's all.
What was that, Darwin?
Now, I was going to say, I think everybody on this panel, and you ain't got to admit it, if you have decided to get behind the wheel after drinking, I think innately, at some point in your instinct, you've thought about getting pulled over. Like, damn, man, I could get pulled over for drinking and drive. But you still continue to peel out and take it on to the house.
Let the record state Manic Genius has never drinking and driving.
Who you haven't? Who said that?
Yeah, Manic. Not even a sip. Not even a beer.
Look at you. Look at you. Keep it that way.